Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal 132 people in 10 different countries. And the theme for this set and the other set that's coming up this month is abundance. And at least in this set, oh, yeah. Let me get into what we're doing today. Should I do that right away? Yeah, I think so. Ooh, thanks for the fast confirmation. That's nice. Yeah. Thank you for my confirmation. Okay. So today, what we will do, we will continue the step forward, hold ground concepts, somewhat. In that, being able to step forward and then maintain your position, and then step forward again and maintain your position. So that's the hold ground, is the maintain your position part. And I have been in this set encouraging people to look at it as like a yang and yin issue, and that you need equal strength of both in order to, step forward, which is arguably mostly a yang idea, and then maintain your current position could be considered a yin aspect. And so to strengthen both of those, and that you could kind of analyze your own abundance issues by looking at both those strengths and seeing if maybe one is wildly weaker than the other. So we've been working that in order to work abundance. But it's also any type of manifesting is, the step forward and hold ground ideas apply. So today we're going to do something similar in a way that, having that strength, you need the strength. You can't, if you get crushed, then you have no abundance results, right? So you may not be specifically blocked on abundance, but you're totally crushed. So it's a moot point, right? So the idea is not to get crushed, right? Then, okay, sure, if everything else is fabulous in your life, but you just have an abundance issue, then you can, fine tune the abundance pretty simply. Much more simply than if you just have a blanket thing of getting crushed all the time. And so your emotions are tanked, your love life is tanked, your, social relationships are tanked, your abundance is tanked, all sorts of, because you just get flattened, right? So today, how we're going to help you to not get flattened is 7th layer, 7th chakra stuff. So 7th chakra in the head, in the top of the head. You have 2 of them, one for your astral body energy system, one for your physical body energy system. They're oriented this way, the chakras, 7th chakras. So round opening at the top and at the bottom in there. Purple is an ideal color for your 7th chakras. They generate your 7th layers of your auras. So I wanted to introduce certain concepts. Well, first of all, 7th chakra, 7th layer is like your first line of defense in your space, right? So if this layer is really mamby-pamby and weak and thin or full of other people's energy, you don't have great defenses because they can already kind of break through. They just invasive energy. You don't have to know who, people, invasive beings, family control beings, blah, 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 whatever, right? Life. Life is not typically gentle. You have to have a lot of strength, actually, typically, to have a gentle life. Unless you're in a rest life where your last life was just so unbelievably brutal that the angels were like, all right, we'll give you a life where nothing goes wrong and we shelter you the whole time. But then that you went through some of the worst things you could have possibly gone through in the life right before that. And now you just need a little, sheltered lifetime. Even after all the rest in heaven, you still need a sheltered lifetime. So, but most people, certainly people that are working with me, are not in that kind of a rest life. They're having a regular life where you need a lot of strength in order to, you know, have your healthy, gentle experiences. So we're going to amp up some of that strength. That first line of defense, the 7th layer, right? So it's stronger if you're generating more energy with your 7th chakra. So it's full of your own life force, more and more and more of it, right? So if it's not, if your 7th chakras aren't working that well, they're not generating as much energy, then you just don't have a lot going through there. And so then it's easy for other energies to come in. It's easier for you to just get completely rolled over. So we don't want that, right? So safety level is a concept that I want to work, you know, or discuss, I guess, is that there is a certain amount, based on what you do with your life, you need more strength or less strength in your 7th layer to not get crushed, right? Like a group healer, professional group healer, even a non-professional group healer, they need just a shit ton of strength in their 7th layer in order to not get crushed. Because as a group healer, you just, all the bigger invasive beings on the planet, like you're totally on their radar and they try to crush you just for kicks. So that's, you know, you need, your safety level is different. You need a way more 7th layer energy if you're a pro or individual, but a non-pro group healer, right? Meaning you heal more than one person at the same time. If you're a one-on-one healer, either pro or non-pro, you just heal friends, but you're a one-on-one healer, you need less volume of your 7th chakra energy in your 7th layers in order to not get crushed. So your safety level is different, right? If you're an individual self-healer, you don't heal other people, you don't even heal kids or anything, then you need a little bit less. So your safety level, you don't need as much quantity of 7th layer energy as somebody who heals other people and someone who is a group healer, right? If you're a big political figure or a big celebrity, that would you'd have, you know, maybe you'd need the level of strength of not maybe a group healer, but just under that. If you're a very well-known public figure, just because of the way people focus on them, and then invasive beings also want to have that level of influence in society and culture, so they would target those people. So, but that's just sort of to discuss and to give examples that the safety level, there's a safety level, and it's unique to you. You know, what are you dealing with? Are you a public figure? Do you work with a lot of people? Do a lot of people know about you? You know, all that, you know, and so it's unique to you what your safety level is, like how much quantity you need to be generating your 7th layer in order to not be crushed. I mean, not that you would never get crushed, but, you know, if you get crushed, it's temporary, right? But to feel that continual, like, okay, my mind is flat, I don't know what I'm doing, things aren't working well, you know, that's what I'm talking about, that you need a certain level so that doesn't happen. You don't have that existence, right? So I would say aim for, so if we call that your safety level, maybe 100%, right? That's your safety level. You want to have your aura, if your aura is at 100% full of your energy, then that's you reach your safety level, right? But ideally, actually aim for 110 or 120% of your safety level amount of 7th layer energy, because you don't want to have a bad day and then all of a sudden you're just flattened for a week. You know, if you're like just generating enough 7th layer energy so that, you know, you don't get crushed, then you have a bad day and you get plowed, you know, for a week. You know, so you want to even have more strength in your 7th layer than you actually need, right? So then you can afford a couple bad days, a little bit of sickness or whatever, and you still are generating enough so that you're not getting crushed. You just have a cold, or you just, something happened, but all systems are go. So I hope that makes sense. So what so far I've talked about that, generating. You need to generate your seventh chakra. Chakras create energy. So it's not like brain surgery, it's just we need to tune your seventh chakra a little more so that it's better, doing a better job at generating your seventh layer energy. So tuning, unblocking, repairing seventh chakra of physical body and seventh chakra of astral body energy system. But then there's also leaks, right? Because if you're leaking out, you're generating a lot, but it's leaking out because all your clients or all your relatives are cording the back of your seventh layer and draining it out like you're a refreshing beverage for them. Then you go below your safety level of amount of seventh layer energy, even though you're generating a ton of energy, right? So it's not only that you're generating the energy, but it's that you keep it for yourself, right? And so you kind of got to monitor the leaking. Is there too much leaking? Do you have, rips in your auras regularly, and you just think you're like above doing aura repair or something, Then you might be leaking a lot of energy, and you're not at that safety level regularly. So we will also check for leaking in your seventh layers in particular. So that's the main thing for today's healing, as far as I know right now, is going to be this sort of safety level, of the volume, how much of your life force, your seventh layer energy is in your seventh layers regularly. And we're going to work that, amp it up. And also we'll, hopefully get rid of enough leaks, enough, cords and whatever, blocks that people keep cording, creating leaks. So that's it. And then, but I guess the extra thing that I'm going to be watching, and I'm not sure we'll have to do anything with it, is self-assessment. Can you self-assess? And I think sometimes when people cannot self-assess, they're just like, their mind is just too blown. It can be because of this seventh layer issue, that their seventh layer is just too weak, and so then they're getting crushed by external energy too much, and so then they're unable to think critically and logically enough to self-assess properly, to know, like, okay, well, these are my symptoms, and I think it's because of this and this chakra maybe that got damaged, so now I'm going to repair those chakras, to be able to look at your own issue, look inward at your own issue, use this healing knowledge productively to know what to do, or at least have a reasonable theory about what to do, and then, do it. So I'm going to watch and see if this seventh layer strengthening, A, how much we can do at one time in a healthy and gentle way, and B, once we do what we do, does that make it easier enough for people to self-assess their own issues? Because you want to be able to self-assess any issue. If you're not feeling well, if you didn't wake up right, you couldn't sleep last night, ideally it would be good to be able to self-assess that, so like, is that an issue you need to work on today before you try to go back to sleep again tonight, or whatever. But also for abundance, can you self-assess your abundance issues? And could be really priceless to be able to self-assess your abundance issues and just look at it, in some way, find some visual metaphor like a river or mountains or, a garden for your abundance, and just see what, like, sort of take a step back and just kind of see overall how you can improve your abundance. If there's a significant issue, what it is, maybe it's a chakra issue. Maybe it's, you could just fix it like a garden. What's going on? So we'll see. We'll see if the uncrushing and the strengthening of the 7th layer is enough to boost people's self-assessment ability or not. If not, I'll look at how else we can boost that. So that's all. That's what we'll do today. I hope you enjoy it. And let's see. I will look at chat comments and then we'll do 3 minutes of quiet. Oh, since this is the final healing in the set of 3, I'll do a little sales note just for kicks. So that's my website, jwhealing.com. And the twin set for this month is still on sale. I don't know how many spots there are, but there are spots left. So it's worth checking, even if you see this, a week from now. You can go on my website and check, see if there's still spots for the May twin set that you could purchase. The June sets are on my website for sale as well. And the July sets will go up in 9 days on the 15th. They always go up on the 15th, for 2 months in advance. So May 15th is when the July sets go up. And I'll be emailing my news email list that day to announce what the theme is and remind you that they're up now. So if you don't get my news emails on the 15th, but you would like to, just email me and ask to be on my news email list. Introduce yourself if I don't know you, but I'd be happy to put you on my news email list if you ask. That's fine. I don't automatically put people on it, just because I don't want to be spammy. So that's why I'm letting you know. Feel free to email me and ask to be on my news email list. So that's that. Oh, and this is the last, well, for the foreseeable future, this is the final Tuesday group healing, because even the triplet set now, after this one, like starting next month, the triplet set will be spread out. The days will be spread out. So there'll be healing day and then 2 days worth, you're just living your life and healing yourself, and then a healing day. So rather than just a 1 day in between, there'll be 2 days in between each healing. So the triplet sets will be Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday now, after this. So there won't be Tuesday group healings. So it's not that I minded Tuesdays. It's just, I think it'll be nice to have the gaps in between, larger gaps. We'll see, but it has been very nice already with the twin set to have it that way, to have Thursday, Sunday for the twin sets, as opposed to Friday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. So anyway, those are for sale on my website, jwhealing.com. Oh, right. So now I'll do chat comments, which hopefully are, simple things, not like read the meaning of my life. If they are read the meaning of my life, I'll put it off or just tell you to put that question under a video. I can comment later on it. All right. Someone says we can see and hear you. Thank you. Someone says, hey, Janet, we can see you and hear you in Chicago, 68 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny, finally. I don't know if you have been having sunny days, but it seems like each time you have a healing lately, healing day, it's a cloudy day. So that's nice. Hi from Ireland. Hello to you. So it says, hey, Janet, can see and hear you from sunny Petaluma, California. 74 degrees Fahrenheit with all such cute emojis. Thank you. Well, that sounds nice. Someone says, hi, Janet. Still nice in Phoenix, Arizona. Well, that's good. You guys deserve some more pleasant weather as opposed to the extreme of summer. Thank you for healing me and my spouse. Yes, my pleasure. 65 degrees here and loving it. How nice is that? That's good. 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Someone says, I spy a body behind you. I think maybe you're talking about the skeleton. That could be what you're talking about. This is a gaming chair, so that's not a body. But you probably mean the skeleton. Yep. Someone says, hello, Janet and everyone. Hello from Las Vegas, Nevada, 70 degrees Fahrenheit and partly cloudy. Well, hello to you. Someone says, I cannot self-assess today, so I'm doing my basics and lots of grounding. My brain is fried. Yeah, I think the 7th layer strength stuff will be especially nice for you, hopefully for many, many, many people. I have like a dozen sample people that I mean, everybody needs the 7th layer stuff we'll be doing, but some people want much more than others, and you're one of those people. Someone says, hi, Janet, attending live for the 3rd healing in a row. What a rock star you are. Guess we're on a hot streak for working my energy. Yes, you must be. It's hot stuff. Someone says, hi, Janet, 68 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny in San Francisco, California. Well, hello to you. This is hey, Janet. Lots of emojis from cloudy Las Vegas. Excited for this healing. Yes, I'm excited too. All right. Well, good. Nice to see everybody. And I still have the abundance. I mean, the flowers don't have to represent abundance, but there's so many of them and they're so giant. I thought it'd be a good abundance vibe. I talked about them before. There they are without me in the middle. These are rhododendron flowers, and these bushes are actually very tall. Like this one here was probably like maybe 7 feet tall only, but they can be like 20 feet tall even. So with like full of flowers at this time of year. So it's kind of cool. It's the state flower of Washington State where I live. Rhododendron. Someone says sun going down in Ireland, 11 degrees Celsius, which is, let's see, 11 degrees Celsius. Oh, I don't have my chart in front of me. Oh, well. Probably a decent temperature, though. In Fahrenheit, which is all I know. I wish the US wasn't so behind in, like, you know, our measurement systems. But, you know, we're not a very rational country. Alrighty. I shouldn't say we for the US. Anyway, don't want to get into politics, but So now I will do 3 minutes of quiet where you can enjoy the absence of my voice. And then towards the end of that, I'll start the healing in silence. And then after that, I will talk out loud and say what I'm doing as I do it throughout the healing. So you could use it as a self-healing walkthrough if you wish, even if you're a motivated newbie or if you are the most fabulous pro healer in the universe, you would still be able to find good stuff in this healing. Okie doke. Okay, thanks for waiting. So you have hand chakras. Let's unblock those. There's a big energy center in the palm of each hand, your hand chakra. And you have fingertip chakras too. So one in each fingertip. And these chakras, when they generate energy, it goes outward. So if you set these energy centers to a metallic gold color, like Yoga Dog here, who is metallic gold colored, with your intentions, set these chakras to be a metallic gold color. You don't have to be able to see energy to do that. So then that would make them generate gold energy, healing energy at a gold vibration. And then you can use the gold light from one hand to heal and unblock the other hand. You want these chakras to be unblocked so they generate more energy. But then you also want to unblock the whole route from your shoulders down to your fingertips, so that you as a spirit can more and more be present in your arms and your hands, so that you can feel energy, so that when you're combing through, you could feel like a rip, as if you could feel the absence of something, like as if you're stepping into a hole in the floor and you're like, whoa. If you're really in your hand, then when you feel a big rip, it's like, whoa, there's nothing there. Yeah. So, or you could feel a big energy block, like it's more solid. So it's good to be more and more in your shoulders and arms and hands for that reason. Also, just that strong flow helps you manifest. Anyway, so you can make a copy out in front of you of your shoulders and your arms all the way down to your fingertips. So your elbows too, your shoulder joints, and use gold light from your hands to pop out any hard objects that are stuck in these areas. And just use so much gold light that you melt the blocks, you repair any gashes, melt cords. So it's a nice closed system going down your shoulders and your arms. You also have a lot of meridians in your arms and this chest area and your shoulders. So those have their own direction of flow, different directions, but you can just unblock and repair, and then they'll go whatever direction they need to go. So unblock and repair all that area, shoulders, chest, around the arms, and arms and hands and fingers. A lot of gold light. Deep breath. All right, good enough. Redo your groundings. You have 2 of them. Make them big and wide as all your auras, and wide all the way down to the core of the earth. Make them both red or orange or yellow, both the same color. And then make a copy out in front of you of your groundings, like a miniature copy. So here's the top of your grounding right at your 3rd chakra. And then here's the center of the earth, so you can come all the way down and make sure that you melt away the blocks and melt away any hard objects from people, melt other people's energy out. And you can ask yourself, what time of day could be better for me if I were to check my grounding? Like maybe you have a time of day, like when you're at risk for comfort eating, or maybe you have a time of day where you just always get tired, you know, and so you could check your grounding then, but ideally even like an hour before you notice symptoms, or 2 hours before you notice weird symptoms, would be great to unblock your grounding then. And it just takes a second. You don't have to listen to a 3-hour live stream to unblock your grounding. If you did, we'd all be pretty screwed. Indie grounding is where you use gold light around the outer surface of both your groundings and melt away any connections to other people's grounding. Because your grounding works better without people plugging into your grounding. You may have some people that really feel certain that bonding to them is going to help you, but I promise you, bonding to other people's grounding does not actually help you, despite what someone in your life may, they may be very committed to like a sort of a codependent type arrangement. But it's not going to help you. It's not going to help them. All right, good job. So you have 17 auras. They're all around you. Each one is, all around you. And there's the physical body aura, astral body aura, and then 15 auras called Wei Qi auras. Wei Qi is is strong boundaries energy, basically. Helps keep harmful external forces outside of your space. So let's repair any rips that you may have in any of these 17 auras. So make a copy out in front of you of all your 17 auras, and your physical body and your astral body are inside there, and just comb through them with gold light from your hands. And you can, even if you can't see this copy, just go ahead and make it out in front of you with your intention, comb through it with gold light from your hands. Even if you can't see the gold, it's not necessary. The gold repairs. It's not like you have to be watching for it to repair. Gold light repairs energy. Repairs energy rips and melts energy blocks. Helps you to let go. Right? So, but, use your intuition or your vision, whatever you need to do, or your feeling or guess to see, do you need aura repair? Do you have rips, gashes, valleys where you should just have nice, goofy, strong flow, right? So if you need aura repair, an easy way to do it is to repair all your auras at one time, all the rips at once, using composite copy technique. So you create an image of a rip, and you say with your intention, okay, well, this rip represents all the rips that I have in my auras, and as I repair this rip, it's gonna repair all the rips. Right? So you make the rip, make an image of a rip, and then clean it out with sticky gold wax, which is gold light from your hands that sticks to whatever's not you, and then it forms a big lump so that you can remove it all at once and give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, have it stick to everything. So hard objects, invasive people, invasive beings, lift all that out. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, have it stick to everything that's not you. Angels, here you go. You can say to angels, if there are any invasive beings still in the way of this repair, can you please recycle them? Deep breath. And then you get the gold light as deep as you can in the rip so that it starts to repair. And maybe you missed a few of the hard objects, so you can lift those out. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. Check the outer surface. If you have any leaks, repair those. If you have a couple leftover rips, do the whole process again quickly. So there's a copy representing any leftover rips. Sticky gold wax, lift out the junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out all the junk. Angels, here you go. Angels, if there are any invasive beings blocking this repair, can you please recycle them? You send gold light throughout your auras. Redo your gold buffer zones. There's a video on that. If you don't know about gold buffer zones, you can search Janet Wright gold buffer zones and you'll find the video. And it's a good chance to see me over caffeinated. I'm very hyped up in that video. Funny. Creative rings are above your astral body head, 1, 2, 3. And you can make a copy out in front of you of your creative rings. And melt the cords. Use gold light to repair any damage that you have. You might have other people's problems stuck, like hard chunks of energy stuck in the middle of your creative rings. So just melt out other people's problems from around your creative rings. You say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with my creative rings, can you please recycle them? Take a deep breath while your angels do that. Stay here. Again, check for damage. Repair any cracks or missing chunks. Hold light so they grow back. If you have hard crustiness around your rings, just melt that with gold light. All right. Creative rings have flaps. My famous chakra flap diagram here. Infamous chakra flap diagram. So this is what they look like when they're irritated. Like a top-down view of flaps sticking out. So you don't want the flaps sticking out. You want it to just be a smooth, round surface around your creative rings. But if they're stuck open, it's because you have energy blocks stuck in there and or cords from other people or invasive beings. So melt the cords, melt the blocks. Pull light from your hands. You can lift out the blocks, melt them that way. Lift out the blocks in your creative rings, melt them away. Unblock above your creative rings. You can get a stack of blocks that sort of queue up there. Melt away any blocked energy above your creative rings and your auras. And also any blocked any chunks of energy above your auras sitting up there, like maybe someone dumped a bunch of energy on you and it didn't break the surface of your 7th layer, so it's still sitting up there. You can just melt all that away. Sometimes if people feel like sort of hopeless, it's because they have a lot of hard energy above the top of their aura, and it just prevents any sort of optimism and uplifting energy of theirs from getting in. So just check above the top of your aura, see if you have any giant blocks up there, and go ahead and melt them away or blow them up. Okie doke, good enough. Okay, chakra repair and unblocking. Let's do that. So again, this is the basic chakra shape, an open cylinder. So you could make a composite copy out in front of you of a chakra that looks similar to that if you want, doesn't matter what the color is though. And just say, okay, well, this represents all my chakras, all my, major and minor chakras of my body and my spirit, just every energy center. And then just heal it and unblock it, melt cords, melt away devices from other people in your chakras. Lots of gold light. You can even, make a big gold tub of gold water, of gold healing energy, and then just dunk your composite copy in the gold tub of water if you want to. You can make a gold bottle brush, and scrub it inside there. Make the gold bottle brush, that's really gentle for your energy. And just scrub everybody out of your chakras. Make 2 gold bottle brushes, clean the inside and the outsides, give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. The outer surface of the chakra does have flaps, just like the creative rings. So you want those flaps to be shut so that there's no flaps sticking out around here. It's just like a smooth, round surface. And then this surface that your energy flows in and out of should be like flowing water. So if it's hard and crusty, that's because there are energy blocks there. So just melt away the energy blocks. You can lift out any blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of from all your chakras, and then just melt them away or blow them up. Lift out the blocks, melt them away or blow them up. Your intention is healthy and gentle. You want to just clear what's healthy and gentle to clear right now. Melt those cords. You can say too, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with this repair and unblocking, can you please recycle them? You can imagine them first if you want, just line them up. These are all the invasive beings trying to get me to not do a good job with this repair and unblocking, and then just recycle them all. Angels, can you please recycle them? The angels recycle them. But you make the request. All right, good enough for now. We will be doing individual work on the 7th chakra, though, soon. But that's repairing and unblocking all of the chakras at the same time. Okay, so good karma windows is the GKW part that I typed out. So those are those windows, one in each layer directly behind the base of your skull in your astral body auras, astral body aura layers. It's one way that you bring in your new energy, but it's also a way that invasive energy can come in if it's damaged. So you want those windows to be repaired and nice and unblocked. And then governing vessel 15 to 17, those are points right along the midline. Your governing vessel meridian goes up, starts in the crotch, goes up the midline of the back, and hooks around the head into the roof of the mouth. Governing vessel meridian helps with yang, big charge kind of energy, self-assertiveness. So in the diagram, the governing vessel meridian is gray. In energy-wise, you would want it to be a red flowy tube with red flowy energy centers. That's for all the meridians. Red is a good color. So anyway, governing vessel 15 to 17, that's the gray line right there. 15, 16 are the points close together right at the base of the skull, and then 17 is just above that. So 15, 16, 17. So we'll work that in particular. We'll work the whole GV right there. We'll work the yellow one and the green one, the urinary bladder points right there, and then the gallbladder meridian points right there, just the whole base of skull. Those 2 rows right there. We'll be working those and the good karma windows. So I'll just go back and forth through it all. So good karma windows, you just imagine them out. So like if this is, a copy of your head, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just these little windows here. You want them to be nice and repaired and safe and just for you. And then GV 15, 16, 17. Also your spine all along there, so I'll show that sometimes too, right there. So basically your cervical vertebrae shown in the diagram. We'll be working those too a little bit. Gold light, red earth energy is good for any of these areas, and gold light. When in doubt, red earth energy is sort of a good all-purpose earth energy color for most places certainly most places in your body. You can move out of your cervical vertebrae any energy that's healthy and gentle to get rid of. That's not you. Just move it out. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Move it out. Angels, here you go. Move it out. Angels, here you go. Good karma windows. Base of skull points, including GV 16, 15, 16, 17. Lift out the blocks from GV 15, 16, 17, melt them away. Lift out the blocks from GV 15, 16, 17, and melt them away. You could do a little bit of light massage on your base of skull area. You can make a red grounding just for your base of skull area. So you bring up red earth energy all the way from the center of the earth all the way up to your base of skull area, and just have that be a nice way to release extra. You can comb through all your base of skull points outward into your auras and gather up any energy blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of. Just say, angels, you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk. And then melt away cords from people going into these blocks. Wash yourself out until the blocks just melt away. If they don't melt away, you could blow them up. Anything's still there, you can wrap it in gold light, give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? Oh, one way we did 2 days ago in that healing, the Sunday healing 2 of 3, when we did the good karma repair work, we repaired all of the good karma windows at once as a composite. So you could do that, like rather than seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or imagining them all separately, you could, kind of superimpose them all in one place and have a composite copy of all your good karma windows and repair them that way. See how that is for you. You could bring up red grounding and ground this composite copy good karma window with red earth energy. And you can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this area, can you please recycle them? And then 2, if there are any invasive beings that have moved out since you started this healing work and are just waiting for you to have a bad moment so they can get back in, just, say, angels, can you recycle all these invasive beings that are waiting to come back in? Deep breath. So good karma windows, GV meridian, right there. Spine, your cervical vertebrae and your spine. Not just the vertebrae themselves, the bone, but also there are discs in between each vertebrae, and those are super important too. And they can either be good conduits for your life force up and down, or they can be, blocked, just like the bones. So feel the cervical vertebrae and the discs, spinal discs in between the vertebrae. Comb outward again from your neck and your base of skull points and gather up energy blocks that are good to get rid of. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then melt the cords from people going into all these blocks. And then just let the blocks melt fully or blow them up. All right, good job, good job. Woohoo! Hey, great job. All right, so that was eventful. TV 15 to 17, good karma windows. Individually and healed as a composite copy. And base of skull points and cervical vertebrae, which are basically the part of your spine that's in your neck. All right. Who says we never have fun? All right. Okay, so let's get to work on the what I was talking about that will be today's, sort of major concept, which is, I already talked about it, explained it a lot in the intro. So just in short, we want to amp up how much energy. We want to increase the amount of energy if needed. If you're not generating enough energy to be fully safe, then we want to tune your seventh chakras more so that they're happier, so that they generate enough energy, so that you have that safety amount, and even more than the safety amount, so that even if you have a bad day, you don't just get flattened. So let's get to work with that. So first we'll just comb through and get everybody out, because you don't really want to give people a front seat experience with what you're doing, because then you can have backlash. People, A, they're going to be in the way, and B, they might give you a big backlash because they're going to really feel what you're doing if they're in your space while you're doing it. So get everybody out, especially your backlash people, especially out of your seventh layers and your seventh chakras. You can just melt all the cords to all your backlash people and everybody else, even people you consider on your side who, support you in some way. Just get everybody out. Your major chakras, of your auras. Everybody out of all the chakras along your spine. Physical and astral body, major chakras. Out of your auras. Wash everybody out. Out of your groundings. All right. Ooh. So seventh chakras. Let's I guess first you could just intuit your seventh layer of your astral body aura. Is that strong and powerful enough? Your seventh layer of your astral body aura, so that your astral body is not flattened by external energy sometimes or too often. So if 100% is your safety amount and you're aiming for 110 or 120% as far as volume, quantity of energy in your seventh layer of your astral body aura, what are you typically at? What are you at now? What are you generally at? What percentage of how much volume do you have? And if thinking about it as a percentage isn't really working for you, you could think about it in whatever measurement you like. Just it doesn't really matter. The point is it enough or is it not enough? So you could not measure it in a quantity if you want, and just say, okay, it's enough, it's not enough, it's more than enough. And we want it to be more than enough, right? So just sense that. And your seventh chakra generates energy, sends it upward into your seventh layer, right? And then it goes down to the bottom of the seventh layer and comes back up. And it goes through your seventh chakra again, and up and out and down and up again. Out, right? So go ahead and unblock your seventh chakra, and even that seventh chakra river, how it goes upward and then it goes all the way down, and then your seventh chakra has to pull the energy up all the way from the bottom of your seventh layer all the way up into your seventh chakra, and then shoot it back up again. So any blocks in either of those rivers, from the bottom of your seventh layer to the bottom of your seventh chakra, that's your lower seventh chakra river. And then from the top of your seventh chakra to the top of your seventh layer, that's your upper seventh chakra river, right? So unblock both of those so that your seventh chakra doesn't have to work so hard. Because it's like if you're trying to suck through a straw and there's a clog in it, you have to suck really hard, right? And so that's the same thing. Like you don't want your seventh chakra to be able to have to overwork because there are blocks in these rivers, right? So just melt the blocks away so that your seventh chakra doesn't have to, use all its might just to keep basic circulation going. You want your seventh chakra to have a lot of spare energy to work at its best. So you're unblocking the seventh chakra rivers. So I will put rivers, but we've already been doing it. We're unblocking the rivers, 7th chakra rivers. I'll say continued. Mind us that we've already been. And I don't know if you've ever looked in a pool. A pool has generally a filter, right? And or like a fish tank has a filter, right? And the filter has this, as it circulates the water, it catches up the debris in the water, right? And so you have to clean out your filter, otherwise it gets super disgusting, right? And so same thing with a pool, you have a little catch in the filter, so you clean out the leaves and whatever ended up getting caught up in the filter. Or with the fish tank thing, you got to clean out the filter, right? So your filter in your 7th, in any chakra, that's probably one of the main reasons why it's useful to know the direction of flow, because then you know where the filter was. So in your 7th chakra, the flow goes upward like this for the most part. I mean, you bring in new energy this way, but your new energy is already cleaned out. So you bring in the circulation direction is this way, right? It goes all the way from the bottom all the way up to the bottom of the 7th chakra, and then it goes out there. So here's where you're going to be catching the leaves and the debris. Right? So of the pool filter and metaphor. So here is going to be blocked. This could be blocked just because people dump stuff on it, but this is where like all the blocks that were in the way and got sucked up by the 7th chakra, they're going to be sitting right there. So definitely don't ignore the bottom of your 7th chakras. I guess at first I was talking about just your astral body aura layer, but then when I was doing rivers, I was doing both. I was unblocking both astral and physical rivers. So let's just keep doing both. Sorry, I sorry to be confusing. So both 7th physical and 7th astral, you can just imagine them as a composite if you want, or imagine them separately. But I'm going to do a composite, so I'm doing both astral and physical at once. Just so comb through and get those energy blocks and just melt them away. And also you can get them all and say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this stuff, can you please recycle them? Again, we're melting blocks on the underside. Oh. I always update the banner too late. So the bottom of the 7th chakras, we're just melting the energy blocks there. And again, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you please recycle them? So that did a lot, actually. I'm watching people as I'm working, and that unblocking the very bottom of the 7th chakras did even more than unblocking the rivers for most people. I'm just looking for a second. Sorry. Uh, huh. Okay. Um, okay. So now, you can have devices, that are, clamped on anywhere or just, somehow getting in the way of the functioning of the chakra, right? But I was looking at a bunch of people that had devices just, around like constricting the chakra, the seventh chakra. And that's not unique to the seventh chakra, but it seemed especially important. So like these devices, they can smush the chakra. So it's just harder for the chakra to do anything. It's like as if you have a belt on that's too tight, it's just, it's really hard to do anything. So, one person I was looking at, so look for these hard rings around your seventh chakras that just wrap around, but they're just like constricting. You're not supposed to have anything wrapped around your seventh. It's just supposed to be nice and smooth and purple and flowy, generating a lot of seventh chakra energy. Any hard rings around your seventh, around the sides of your seventh chakras, just loosen those up with gold light. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you please recycle them? And then you can just remove them. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Remove all those hard rings, the ring devices around your seventh chakras. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. And they could have like made like an indentation around the chakra itself. So with the ring devices gone, you can just heal that part of the seventh chakra so it looks nice and smooth again. So that probably did the most of what we've been doing. We unblocked the rivers first, and then we cleaned out the pool filter right at the bottom here. Get rid of all sorts of buildup of blocks under the seventh chakra. But then we just now getting rid of those restrictive rings around the seventh chakra seemed to do a whole lot. Restrictive ring devices from other people. Seventh chakra is good for confidence, intuition, autonomy, independence, having goals, identity, a lot of really important stuff. So if somebody was triggered and insecure or, just threatened by your confidence, or somehow wanted to, dominate you in some way, they could have placed these hard ring devices around the chakra just to smush it enough that it doesn't work properly. So just melt those ring devices. You can melt them right in place, or you can lift them out first and then melt them. And you could have invasive beings hooked into them. So you could say, angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into these devices, can you please recycle them? Yeah, that seems to have worked really well as far as having more than enough, being able to generate more than enough energy now, beyond that safety level, as far as quantity of seventh chakra energy for your confidence, inspiration, identity, goals, autonomy, all that good stuff. So as far as leaks, so there's not a lot of energy that people have being leaked out of their 7th layers right now, just because we were so careful to wash everybody out and melt cords. However, you may still have the energy blocks in your 7th layers that allow those people to cord again, later today or whenever, and then drain off energy from your 7th layer that you've worked so hard on now. So let's melt away these blocks, energy blocks that you may have in your, they could be in your 7th chakras or more commonly in your 7th layers. I mean, they could be in both, but people that work their energy more, we do a lot of chakra unblocking. So maybe it's harder for people to actually cord your 7th chakra, but still they can find some blocks in your 7th layers. So let's melt the blocks that make it easier for people to cord. So put out in front of you any 7th layer blocks that you have, astral body, physical body, either energy system, but any 7th layer blocks, any 7th chakra blocks that you have too. And say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? So that way your angels will edit your piles. So that anything that's still left over, yes, it is healthy and gentle. You can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into all this junk? And then go ahead and you can bring up red earth energy, gold light, melt cords from yourself, from other people going into these piles. This is these are blocks that are healthy and gentle to clear that are in your 7th layer and your 7th chakras. So just, you can wash everybody out, and then you could blow up the piles, or you could just continue to melt them with gold light till they're gone. If you have any left over that are not melting, just wrap them up in gold light. Say, angels, can you help me with these? All right, good job. Okay, so there's a stereotype. There's a stereotype of like the older people tend to repeat themselves a lot, and so they'll repeat the same story over and over again. And I think more commonly is that people will think the same thing over and over again. So they may spiral over and over again about, like self-critical sort of thoughts, or like, woe is me, sucks to be me kind of thoughts. But, like, there can be energy blocks that you're stuck on, but you don't really realize it because, I don't know, because when you're stuck, it's not the most enlightened moment, So when these blocks get triggered, you just think about these things. You don't think, oh, I'm stuck because I'm again thinking about these things. You're just thinking, well, these things suck, But so anyways, this is a way to help you to get out of your negative recurring patterns, recurring thought patterns and recurring communication patterns to yourself or to others. So you could be saying the same thing over and over again to a loved one that you have, or a business partner, or, or to yourself. And so if we clear these energy blocks, it can allow you to, you know, I mean, maybe you'll get stuck on something new, but hopefully then you'll just have more productive thought, and it won't be so stuck in you know, like a lower vibration of like woe is me, or you know, frustration or whatever, right? So hope that makes sense. Let's clear broken record blocks. And you don't have to know what your broken record blocks are, because you know, oftentimes people don't realize, like you'll realize, like say what your friends broken record blocks are, you know, because they keep returning to these subjects, but you won't realize that, you know, you might not realize what your broken record blocks are. You might, you know, but anyway, so either way you can clear them easily, so it's good stuff. Well, let's do it. Oh, the doing's over there. What are we doing over here right now? Okay, so so put out in front of you copies of all your broken record blocks, and you can even make 2 piles just for fun. Here, you know, 1 pile for the broken record blocks that you're somewhat conscious of, that you know you keep getting stuck on, and 1 pile for all the broken record blocks that you really do have, that affect your thoughts and your communication and your actions, but you don't know you have them. Like it's not so obvious to you. And just notice the difference in the piles. Maybe 1 pile is bigger than the other. And then just go ahead and the angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? That way your angels will edit the piles if you have too much. And then angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this junk? And then bring up red earth energy, soak the piles, melt the cords from other people and from yourself out of these piles. And as you melt everybody out of the piles, they're most likely going to get smaller and smaller and smaller till they completely melt. But if they don't, or you just enjoy blowing it up instead, you can blow them up. And if you have anything left over, just wrap it up in gold light and give it to your angels. Say, angels, can you help me with this? Couple deep breaths. So let's do that process one more time, just a little faster. So make 2 piles out in front of you, or 1 if you don't want to know which is conscious and which is subconscious, but I like 2 piles. So 1 pile, just put out in front of you copies of any energy blocks that you know on some level you're aware of consciously, that you spiral on, you know, like worries about some topic or some part of your life or something in the world, you know. So what do you spiral on? What are your broken record blocks? And then what are your broken record blocks, a different pile for what your broken record blocks are affecting your thoughts and actions and communications, but you're not so conscious that it's a broken record block. You don't realize you keep repeating yourself, or your thoughts keep having the same theme. So you have your 2 piles of your broken record blocks, and say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And then angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into any of this stuff, can you recycle them? And then melt cords from people using gold light from your hands, melt cords from people going into these blocks. And melt cords from you going into the blocks, and just wash everybody out of these blocks. And then you can blow up all the blocks, or just keep melting them with gold light from your hands till they're all gone. And if any of it's not melting, just wrap it up in lots of gold light and give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with all that? All right, good job. Woohoo! Woohoo! Good job, good job, good job. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to do chakra alignment, chakra filaments, and chakra fit. So chakra alignment, basic, alignment for astral body and physical body, major chakras along your spine. Chakra filaments, the connections between the 7 physical and 7 astral body chakras. We're just going to unblock and repair those filaments that help the energy flow between your physical major chakras and your astral body major chakras. And then chakra fit is just an extra unblocking so that it's easier for astral body major chakras to fit into physical body major chakras. So just a selective unblocking of both sets of chakras so that the fit is better. You can be more present. So let's do it. And this assumes that your chakras are repaired and unblocked enough. I guess we could do chakra repair for like 1 second again. So this is the basic shape of all your chakras, an open cylinder. So make a copy out in front of you of your chakras, have it represent just your major chakras here, and use gold light from your hands, your hand chakras and your fingertip chakras to repair and melt cords. The cords would be going in as pairs of cords around the round openings. So just use gold light and melt those cords, melt the baggage, the hard blocks that the cords hook into. repair any damage you might have to your major chakras, meaning 7 physical and 7 astral body chakras. Just repair any damage. So there could be cracks or missing little pieces. Again, melt cords from people. As far as invasive beings cording, you can just have your angels recycle those invasive beings. You can say, angels, can you please recycle any invasive beings that are messing with any of my chakras? All right, so that was the smallest, shortest version of chakra repair and unblocking. So chakra alignment is you just imagine you can imagine both at once, or you could imagine separately 7 physical and 7 astral. They're this way. So 7th is this way, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 are this way. So 6 down to 1. 7 is in the top of the head. You know, it's oriented this way, like with the round opening at the top and the bottom. So it's right in there, both of your 7th chakras. So get those aligned first. And align just means, you know, clicked into place where it should be. It could be like little knocked, you know, over or twisted a little bit. So just use so much gold light that it just clicks into place the way it should be. And then you'll do the same thing with 6 through 1, which are oriented this way, round opening in the front, round opening in the back. So have 6th chakra click into place in alignment with your 7th chakras. 5th chakra in the throat. So 6th, 7th is confidence, creative inspiration, autonomy, empowerment. 6th chakra is clairvoyance and non-judgment. That click into place. 5th chakras, communication with self and others, peace of mind, hearing your angels, inner thoughts. So have your 5th chakras click into place, click into alignment with your 7th and 6th. 4th chakras in the center of the chest, the feel-good chakra, helps with a glass half full perception, enthusiasm, motivation, self-love, self-care. Have that click into place. 3rd chakra, which is below your sternum, right there, your 3rd chakra, has to do with taking action and having good sleep. So have that click into place. 2nd chakra below your belly button, emotions and sexuality and sensuality. So you can unblock that, wash everybody out. Lots of gold light. Have it click into place with your major chakras above that. And 1st chakras at the base of the spine. Nice color for them is red for your 1st chakras. Couple deep breaths, unblock, get gold light so that your 1st chakras can click into place. So that's basic chakra alignment. And then chakra filaments, those are the good cords between you and your physical body and your astral body at each major chakra level. So you can imagine 2 rows, you know, one is your physical chakras, one is your astral body chakras, and then the filaments. Just they would be the color of each chakra. So if you do the rainbow system, then the 7th chakras are purple. So your filament would be that same color, purple, naturally, because it would be carrying that energy back and forth, your 7th chakra energy. So use gold light, unblock it, make sure it's not leaking, no hard objects or junk. 6th chakra, an ideal color for that would be like a cobalt blue, some kind of deep blue. So just unblock your 7th chakra filament. So you have good flow in between the 2. 5th chakra, Nice color for that is medium or light blue. Communications, self and others. So make sure that there's no leaks in that, no cords to other people. Just for your 5th chakra of your body and your 5th chakra of your astral body to communicate back and forth. 4th chakras, get that filament going. So an ideal color for your 4th chakras is green. If you're doing the rainbow system, you know, purple, deep blue, light blue, green for the 4th chakras. And use gold light and melt away any junk. Melt away any cords hooking into this filament. That would be pretty invasive for somebody to cord your filament. But it's possible. Wash everybody out. You have good communication between your 2 4th chakras. 3rd chakras, ideal color would be yellow for getting stuff done and also sleeping well. So that filament would also be yellow. Unblock it, wash everybody out. If anyone's hooked into it, just melt them away. You want energy to flow freely, your energy to flow freely between your 3rd physical and 3rd astral, back and forth. 2nd chakra, sexuality, emotions, sensuality, all your senses. Orange is an ideal color for your 2nd chakra if you're doing the rainbow system. And so chakras, set them to your favorite shade of orange. Set that filament to your favorite shade of orange. Wash everybody out. Wash everybody's cords out of that filament. Melt them away. Unblock. Make sure there are no leaks. Melt those. Repair the leaks. 1st chakras, red is an ideal color for that. Courage, safety, and abundance. 1st chakra. So the filament in carrying your 1st chakra energy back and forth would be red as well. And you want to definitely melt cords going from other people into this filament. These chakra filaments are only for you. And melt blocks so that you have really good communication between your 1st chakras. All right. And then, so that's your chakra filaments. And then you want to be able to be fully present. So sometimes when you imagine them separately, you're separating yourself, actually, literally at that time. You don't have to, but just to make sure you can imagine your astral body chakras fitting into your physical body chakras. And, you know, you may not yet be able to be in, say, your lower chakras yet, or maybe just your 1st chakra, you're not yet in it. You haven't unblocked enough of past life junk to be able to do that in a healthy and gentle way. So just to enhance your fit into as many chakras as is healthy and gentle for you right now, just lift out any energy blocks in any of these major chakras that are in the way of a healthy and gentle fit, and lift those out and melt them away. Lift out the blocks. You can say 2 angels if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk. Can you recycle them? Melt people's cords out of the blocks and then just melt the blocks. So chakra fit, you're just aware of the blocks that are really in the way and lift them out. And angels, can you recycle the beings? Angels, are these healthy and gentle to clear? If not, they'll remove some blocks, and then the rest of them you just blow up. And then you can just do shorthand, like you asked your angels to do those 2 requests, recycle beings and make sure they're healthy and gentle, right? So now you can just do it and say angels, you know, and they kind of know that you just did, you know, to repeat those 2 requests. So lift out the blocks that are in the way of chakra fit, angels. And then they'll recycle the beings and check to make sure it's healthy and gentle, and you just melt away or blow it all up. Lift out the blocks, angels. Give them a sec to do it, and then now you can melt the blocks or blow them all up. Lift out the blocks in the way of chakra fit, angels. And then just melt the blocks or blow them up, whatever amuses you. So you might want to do a stretch or something gentle. All right, and go ahead. We'll wrap up now. So just put out in front of you any stubborn triggered energy blocks, any blocks that are still triggered on any level. They're irritating you, even subconsciously. Put copies of them out in front of you, and just say angels. And they'll know to do those two things: the check, make sure they're healthy and gentle, and to recycle any invasive beings hooked into them. And then you can just melt cords from people out of these blocks. And your energy, melt your own energy out of the blocks, and then melt the blocks or blow them up. So one more time, any stubborn triggered energy blocks that are still triggered, put copies of them out in front of you. And then angels. So you can do those two things, recycle beings and check to make sure it's healthy and gentle. And now you can just melt cords from people, melt the people's energy out, and melt the blocks or blow them up. That's awesome. All right. You can redo your grounding, red or orange or yellow, whatever helps you to release the most right now. And comb through both your groundings with gold light. Make sure you're releasing a lot. You're releasing well. And just a reminder that you can always recheck your grounding. It just takes a second. And that would be the easiest thing to check when you're not feeling at your tippy top functioning level. All right, so as we wrap up, you can just ask your angels. Angels, can you please give me a healing and help me wrap up? And angels, can you help me with my abundance? Angels, can you help me with my stepping forward and holding my ground, spiritually speaking? All right. Good job. Good job. Good job. Woohoo. Yay. All right. I don't think I have confetti here right now. Butterflies on the beach. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Oh, that's funny. All right. Good job. Good job. Good job. So now we will do a quick bathroom break. And then I'll do a stretch break right when I come back, just for a minute, which is not guided, but you know, I keep the camera on just in case it inspires you to do some stretching too. And then we'll do a 30-minute chat session, which is not a time to have me rescue you as a super reader. It's a time for you to assess your own issues. You could comment on how the healing was for you, you know, or if you have a follow-up question about the theme, the concepts discussed. But if you want to talk about your issue, talk about it in an empowered way, you know, try at least by self-assessing, you know, so this is my issue and this is what I think is going on energetically within me, and this is what I think I should do about it. You know, I should heal certain chakras, or I should repair something, or try to self-assess, at least attempt self-assessing, because I'm not just going to ride in on this golden horse and fix your life, right? That's not the way things work. So there's no point in us, pretending otherwise. Life happens, and you need to, if you learn this stuff, you need to be able to know how to apply it, right? So that's what we're going to practice with self-assessment for 30 minutes. But first, a bathroom break, and then stretching, and then the self-assessment break. So I will kill the camera so that you can enjoy the beach, and then I'll be right back. I'm back. So I'm going to do a minute of gentle stretching, and you could too if you want. However you need to stretch, go for it gently. Gentle for one person is not gentle for the other, so whatever, your gentle level. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed your break. Okay. So thank you for all your chat comments. Oh, if you could give the live stream a thumbs up, that would be nice. That would help the stream, help the YouTube algorithm to take me a teeny bit more seriously. Let's see. I'm looking for comments that I missed. Someone says, "Hey Janet, my brain feels frozen too today." Well, hopefully the healing helped. But yeah. Sun going down in Ireland. Oh, I read that one, but I didn't read I don't know if I read the other one. Someone says, "Thank you so much, Janet. Still trying to assess invasive energy at night. Tried melting invasive people floor. Think it melts the same blocks as benches. Easier to do when tired." Yeah, that's fine. Gold buffer zones. Other ideas. This 7th layer stuff is interesting for that. What we did today, so you can see if your 7th layer is strong enough. Before you go to bed. 7th astral and 7th physical aura layer. Also you had mentioned as a self-assessment that I think in the last stream or maybe in a survey that like the tree trunk areas, you get invasive energy in when when it wakes you up at night. And was noticing, like those, you can unblock your receiving areas, especially above the shoulders. Because if you have too many blocks here, then it's like an easy into your tree trunk areas. If you have too many blocks here, also an easy way for invasive energies to kind of hop in to your tree trunk areas. So you could unblock all your receiving zones. Just think of all your auras, and the ability, can you bring in new energy this way? Can you bring in your new energy that way from behind? Can you bring it in from above? Are you unblocked enough? But yeah, I think the tree trunk areas, that could be interesting to keep working that. Because I think sometimes you don't see you have more blocks there than maybe you notice. You could think of okay, well, I want red vitality in all my tree trunk major joints, elbows, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, and how much of your red vitality of your body and spirit is there, and how much is weird gray, silver, black kind of stuff. And just keep working that. So I don't think the blocks are new, and they're not just showing up when you're sleeping and having trouble sleeping, but it those blocks enable people to hop in your space a little more easily. So your previous self-assessment of tree trunk areas, I think, is a good one to keep working. Someone says, "Hello, Janet from Italy. Hello to you. Rainy days here, momentarily down emotionally, financially, and creativity problems. Hugs. Thanks for advice every time." You're welcome. Yeah, maybe keep repeating that the 7th chakra strengthening one that we were doing. I don't know how much of the healing you were able to follow along with. because you were not one of the people that I healed, which of course you know, but other people might not know. That's why I'm saying it. So yeah, so when the healing is timestamped, there'll be a section, 7th layer, 7th chakra, and it'll be like there'll be 3 subsections of stuff that we did to basically make your 7th chakras do a better job of filling the 7th layers with lots and lots and lots and lots of your energy. So then it's like the first line of defense. It keeps you, more free, and less smushed. Because if you don't have enough of your energy here, then it's like the world kind of can beat you down a little too easily. So you could redo the 7th chakra sections in the healing, or do them for the first time. Someone says hello. 70 degrees Fahrenheit in Ottawa, Canada. Rainy, but beautiful green grass and perfectly yellow dandelion flowers. Cheery. Yeah. That's super creepy that your phone listens to you and like somehow it thinks if you say the word SIRI, that it's like, It's like, I wasn't talking to you. That is like creepy as all. It just could not be creepier to me. It just amazes me what they think is a positive product improvement. So my phone is always listening to me. How creepy is that? Alrighty. But I need it for my timer, so I'll keep it on. Otherwise I'd power it down. Be less creeped out. Anyway. Where was I? Someone says hi, lots of cute emojis. Hello to you. Someone says, thank you, Janet. Feeling a bit lethargic with a mild headache post-healing. Doesn't feel like damage, mostly blocks from my new job move, self-assessment. It looks like I'm about 7/8 way through and have had some interviews on the astral. I'm really tired when I apply for jobs, and that is a 4th chakra issue. How'd I do? Well, I'm glad that you are thoroughly self-assessing and you're not just doing it the teeny bit. You're really doing your best to see what's going on. So you self-assess not only your mild headache and your lethargy now, but your job situation. So the mild headache post-healing, your self-assessment is it's mostly blocks. Yeah. I think there is some damage, but not deep damage. Like there's some Wei Qi auras that are like partially ripped open, just not fully. So yeah, I agree that it's most, as far as the actual head meridians, the meridians in your head, they're more compressed as opposed to like ripped open, So, but I would say there are some Wei Qi auras that are like half ripped. Not fully ripped, not fully repaired. And so that brings too much pressure in. And then the blocks that are in your auras in the more inner layers are being pressed upon, which is then pressing upon the meridians and compressing everything too much. So I do think there's some aura repair needed, but then, yeah, just unblocking all the auras around your head. And then if needed, direct meridian work, but it might be enough to just repair your Wei Qi auras and then unblock all the auras just so everything can expand again and relax. So as far as, and if people need a little handy diagram of the head meridians, that's the ones in the back of this head. Those are the ones in the face. In case your headache is around your eyes. And the side of the head, I don't think I have a convenient image. I'll pull one up though from the video. So that's the gallbladder meridian right there. Lots of cool side of head points for the gallbladder meridian. So it, starts by the eye, goes in, goes up, down around the ear, and then it goes up, and then it goes back down, down the side of your body. So maybe, fun with meridians a little bit. Why not? And actually your gallbladder meridian, someone did point out, which is one of the few things I already knew, was that the gallbladder meridian helps with decisive self-assertiveness and decisiveness and decision making. So, getting a job and stuff, is kind of that kind of self-assertive, decisive decision making kind of idea, moving cross country, getting a new job, like the big courageous things like that, working your gallbladder meridian more could be nice for that too, but not only just for head discomfort. So yes, it does look like your self-assessment is right in that you are interviewing on the astral very actively, and you are not freaking out if you don't get the job astrally. You seem to be maintaining your determination and your enthusiasm about it, your passion. So it looks good on the astral. You're saying that you're tired when you're applying for jobs consciously. That's interesting. Maybe you just unblock around the shoulders and above the head, because it looks like you're trying to bring in a lot of all that good motivation and drive that you have on the astral for your job search, and you're trying to bring it in. Maybe unblock all your receiving zones, actually, so your aura in front and back, even around your legs, and then also up here in case, and your good karma windows, just in case you're trying to bring, because there's a lot of, you're very much a job search badass on the astral now, and so you're trying to bring in that badassery for job searching into the body, and when there's a lot you're trying to bring in, and it's like sort of traffic jamming on some blocks, it makes you feel like you need to take a nap or something. So yeah, we just unblock all your receiving zones. But yeah, good self-assessment. Yeah. So maybe we'll go back to that beach thing. There we go. This is a nice butterfly emoji. Thank you. It says, thank you for the triplet set. I appreciate all of them. I am feeling at ease and think my angels are telling me to write a bucket list of things I want to do. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you did hear that right. That's nice. Cool. Yeah, pretty neat. Yeah, I think having your seventh layer make more volume of energy, your seventh chakra, have more, so it puts you in a better headspace to, write down a bucket list. Seventh chakra helps with goals, and then, having that more volume here helps you to be less smushed, and we wash people out of it. So, and I think too, there was a section where we cleared broken record blocks, and I think that too can kind of elevate your thought process, beyond the normal pitfalls, and just help you to. So yeah, that's cool. And if you did want to do more, you could repeat once the little chapters are in, you could repeat the clearing broken record blocks one, and the seventh chakra one too. But especially, I think the clearing broken record blocks would be liberating for your mind. so you could brainstorm more. So yeah, cool. Yeah, good reading. And good hearing your angels. That's pretty cool. Someone says, thank you. You're welcome. Someone says, when this triplet started, I was really hoping to improve my abundance. My standards have now dropped. I just don't want to feel like crap anymore. Yeah, you have really descended into a very much like a poor me, woe is me, I'm going to drown in my misery vibe. I've been impressed with the descent. Yeah, I can't fix that. That's something you have to get sick of on your own. Yeah. You're going down in flames, girl. At some point, you got to pick up that hose and douse the flames. Come on, your angels are holding the hose out for you. You just got to pick it up. Come on. It is possible to get so stuck on your own issues that you just suffocate yourself. So that is occurring. And I am purposefully not rescuing you from it because you really need to do it yourself. So yeah, if you want to have a self-assessment about why you are so in the toilet, that could be a productive place to start. And then you could post the self-assessment on what's going on with you and what you need to work on. And then I could give you feedback on that. But that's up to you. Righty. So big wave, ocean wave. Oh, because of the image. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I hope you like it. I know that I have one client who doesn't like this image because they don't like big bodies of water because of drowning phobias. So I haven't used this image, but I thought, well, probably it's a pleasant image for most people. So, but you can let me know in your survey if it wasn't a pleasant image for you. I'm definitely open to feedback about it. I know there's a different water image that for that person wasn't so triggering, but that one isn't moving and it doesn't have a sunset on it. So, but yeah, people's feedback is helpful. Although sometimes I can't accommodate everybody, but it's so good to know. But anyway, someone says, totally enjoyed the stretching break. Oh, good. That's funny. Also loving the newish ocean waves video during the stretching. Oh, good. Thumbed up. Yeah. Thank you for the thumbs up on the live stream. Appreciate it. And I appreciate reminding the chat about it. That's good. Thank you. Let's see. I lost my place again. Okay, someone says, hello, Jana. I think I've made a lot of progress with this triplet set on abundance, but I should continue to work specifically on holding ground. What do my angels think? Well, there you go. Self-assessment. You're giving yourself, picking your own homework and then having me double check. So that's good. You're reading yourself. I agree. I think that, yeah, I agree on both counts that the set helped especially much. And I think it helped. And I think the holding ground is a big deal for you. Like still a work in progress. Like I think you maybe only got like a third of the benefit that you could about the holding ground stuff. So you could definitely keep working the holding ground stuff. I think this 7th layer, the way we worked it today, the 7th layer stuff to strengthen your 7th layer, that could be a really nice way to work it. And the clearing broken record blocks, I don't think for you is as critical as the, building up the volume of your energy in your 7th layer so that you don't get smushed as easily. And I think too, 7th chakra, 7th layer, it's very low drama. If you're in your 7th chakra and your 7th layer, it's low drama. If everyone else is in there, it's high drama. So you know, and if you're stuck in your fourth, then it's like very woe is me, and you're more likely to be subconsciously like throwing energy at people and starting shit with people. But if you're in your seventh rather than your fourth, you know, so you're, in other words, like if you're predominantly in your sixth and seventh, but you're present in everything else, but you're not like looking at the world from your fourth, you're looking at the world from your sixth and your seventh, then it's more kind of like this image. It's just like, you know, very even and evolved. So I think it'd be great for you to just keep working that volume of seventh chakra energy in your seventh layers, and just, you know, so that way you just like mellow out and get the serenity. So yeah. So yeah, I agree, and your angels agree. But definitely the holding ground more than the stepping forward is more of your issue. Someone says, I've been watching since 2018. How about that? Well, that's pretty cool. I don't recognize your YouTube ID, but you can email me and say, oh, by the way, that was my YouTube ID and this is my full name. But I have a guess. Well, yeah, I have a couple clients that could be, so I'm not sure. But yeah, feel free to email me if you want to say hi. Janet at jwhealing.com. But that's cool. You've been watching since 2018. Somebody says, thanks, Janet, about receiving zones for a new job. Explains why I want to sleep all the time. LOL. Yeah. Yeah, you're trying to bring in new energy, but if it collides with blocks, it makes you feel like sort of, you know, like, ooh, I should sleep. Like top heavy, kind of. All right. So yeah, unblock creative rings, but also here too, in case it's trying to come straight into the shoulders, which is possible. Someone says, hi, Janet, from working the invasive people room technique, which is a short video in the short video playlist, which is featured on my YouTube channel page. Invasive people room technique is the video. I noticed I have a lot of helpful coworkers that pop in and try to help. I'm popping them out a lot. I noticed that they keep coming back. Any ideas? Well, you're melting the floor, and the floor is the energy blocks that allow them into your space. So I guess you just have a lot of energy blocks to clear, which makes sense. I think, you know, I think that's kind of like your thing. It's like sometimes when you're social, you don't have boundaries. And when you're antisocial, you have boundaries, you know, but like being social and having boundaries, that's like sort of, you know, where you could grow a lot, you know, and where you're working, you know, you're growing now, you know, but that's, I think that's where that is. So I don't think it's wrong that you keep finding people in your space. I think it's true. And there are just more blocks that make it easy for people to get there, you know, and so I don't see a problem with that. I mean, maybe you could think about your grounding more, you know, like look at your grounding when you have boundaries with your coworkers and compare it to your grounding when you don't have great boundaries with your coworkers. That could be, you know, like seeing a, you know, because there are some times when you do have boundaries with your coworkers and you're social and you have boundaries. It's not your default yet though, you know, so I would just compare your space when you have, how do you look when you have boundaries with your coworkers? You know, are your lower chakras releasing out the back? You know, are your lower aura layers nice and expanded and flowing? And then when you don't have boundaries with the coworkers, what does your grounding look like? What do your lower chakras look like? What does your inner aura layers look like? And stuff like that. Compare and contrast. I hope that makes sense. Someone says, I'm very glad we have the opportunity to listen to you answer people's questions. One of the answers also applied to my situation. My seventh chakra, seventh layer, jammed up right after we healed it. Well, I'm glad the self-assessment stuff is helping. I don't think you are posting a self-assessment about why that happened, but it would be interesting to know your self-assessment about why that happened. But yeah, you could keep working basically I don't know that your 7th layer and 7th chakra jammed up right after we healed it. I mean, I think right now there's pressure on your 7th chakra, but it's still functioning. It's just, I think a couple of your Wei Qi auras got whacked in the upper back. And so it's just putting pressure, you know. So maybe just repair some of your Wei Qi auras, and that would, you know, relax you again and repair, you know, just unblock around your head a little extra so that you can, you know, chill out. But I think that the volume of 7th chakra energy is a big one for you. I mean, big one for many people. That's why I focused on it in this healing. But you know, as like the first line of defense for strong boundaries. All right. So I don't have much more time. Someone says, thanks for the healing. Both your spouse and you are cranky, who both got the healing. My self-assessment is that I'm feeling deeper blocks in my chakras. For your spouse, I'm not sure, maybe aura damage from wax. And then you said something else. I guess my husband is also cranky because he lost a client this afternoon. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the trigger, right? So there are external triggers, and then there's, you know, what's triggered. So the event that was external is he lost a client, but then, you know, there's a lot of baggage that triggers because of that. And so it's really the baggage making him cranky. His grounding is fine though. It's just, he has a lot of compression right around his belly. So while he's clearing, you know, park bench communication would be good to do with him, as opposed to small table communication, you know, so that it gives him time to kind of air out. And otherwise, if you small table communicate with him while he's stuck, then you may be courting some of it, and then he'll blame it all on you. I get pissed at you. As far as you being cranky, I think that has already started to occur. Like you're a little tangled in his stuff, and he has whacked you a few times because of it. So small table with him, or, you know, park bench with him. Just like be on a long park bench with him. And so you're both enjoying the view. You're not in your like super psychic looking at him mode. And just wash him out. There are some energy blocks of yours that he's courting, and vice versa. So just, you know, melt cords, lots and lots of cords. Not lots. It's not like there are millions of cords, but it's like he's courting like 6 of your key energy blocks, and you're courting like 8 of his key energy blocks right now. So it's like you're kind of in each other's wounds, so to speak. So yeah. But so your self-assessment that you're cranky because of deeper blocks in your chakras, yeah, I think it's more just you and your spouse getting tangled up. There is some like 1st and 2nd layer stuff that's triggered for you. So you could just go through inner layers and unblock, or clear STEBs. But anyway, someone says, I don't understand. My assessment is that this healing has brought up all sorts of past life grief. And as it comes up to heal, I am feeling it all again, and it is painful. If the basics are not working, I'm not sure what else to do. I think there's a risk with your self-assessment. I think it's good that you posted a self-assessment, because that's something that, you know, you're now trying, and I can give you feedback on what you're trying to do and your point of view. If you don't post your point of view, you know, beyond just what was me, then there's not much I can do with that. So okay, so your self-assessment is that the healing brought up all sorts of past life grief, and as it comes up to heal, I am feeling it all again, and it is painful. Yeah, I would disagree with that perspective, because I mean, grief sucks for everybody, and everybody's been clearing grief in this healing, but you're down for the count. So the question is, why are you down for the count? Is it that grief sucks for you, but not for everyone else? No. It's that somehow there's something triggered that is not clearing, and you're trapped in it. You know, it's like being trapped in a bad movie, right? And so that's the self-assessment nugget right there. You're trapped in some stuff. So it's not like, oh, this healing is brutal. That's like it's imprecise to the point of being not helpful and disempowering, because then you're just thinking, well, this healing is just really hard to get through. Nothing I can do, man. Woo, you know, and there's nothing that you can do about that. It's like, you know, it's, you know, whereas you have this vast amount of healing knowledge, you know about chakras, you know about energy blocks, you know about so many techniques, but you can't do anything if it's just this healing is brutal, you know? So, and that's not really even accurate, but the problem with it not being accurate is then there's nothing for you to do about it, and you're just fucked, right? Which is, you know, not true, and disempowering, and makes it suck even more, right? So you want to have it suck less, right? So how can you have it suck less, right? So you realize, okay, well, if I'm in this anguish, obviously Janet probably wouldn't make a living if her healings always made everyone feel like shit, right? So there must be something uniquely going on in my particular space why I feel like shit. And it's not that I'm the only one with past life grief, or, you know, grief, unresolved grief. It's that somehow it's like I've tripped and I've fallen, right? And so what is that, right? What's going on? Why am I in agony? Something's happening. It's not just, oh, I have past life grief, and of course, you know, as you clear it, it sucks. No. You can clear grief. You can release grief, and you barely feel it. You know, I had, you know, 2 pets crossover. I had 1 pet crossover who I was so close to. Oh, such a sweetheart. And so close. I mean, she was like my second skin, literally, the way she was so over bonded to me because of the trauma she'd been through and everything. And she passed away, right? And I had a lot of grief healing, right? But I released a lot, but, you know, it was hard. Then the next year, very next year, we had 2 pets, one of whom I was so close to, and they both passed away within, I think it was like a week of each other or 2 weeks of each other. It was surreal. Both of natural causes, different reasons. But that experience was way easier for me, even though I was arguably even closer to one of those dogs than I was the first dog. But I was just more skilled at clearing the grief, much more skilled at clearing the grief. So I felt it like probably like 10%. You know, it was like 10% the amount of discomfort as the first, you know, a year earlier, because I realized if the grief is flowing out of you, you barely feel it. If you're traffic jammed on the grief, then you're like in total, you know, it fucking sucks, you know? So you're stuck in it fucking sucks because something really key for you, you know, some kind of trauma is not releasing. It's not clearing. And you're sitting in it going, oh, this healing is brutal. No, it's not brutal. You're stuck and something is not releasing. When it releases, you don't feel it that much. It's not like, you know, I mean, I've released a lot of like horrifying events in my life, and I don't have to relive it when I release it. Okay? There's like getting caught in a flashback. That's different from getting a healing and clearing trauma. Getting a healing and clearing trauma doesn't have to be a healing crisis. So hope that makes sense. So that's why I keep pushing you to self-analyze. Look, where is it not releasing? Is your grounding not releasing? Correct. Your grounding is not releasing. Why is your grounding not releasing? Is the left side releasing? kind of. Is the right side releasing in the front, but not the back? The back of your grounding, both backs of quarters of your grounding are really not releasing. So there's one thing, one area of improvement. You know, what about the bottom layers of all your auras? Are they releasing? Not really. So it's like you have this big steel bowl that's holding in all your grief and it's not releasing. And you're just blaming it on the healing, which I get that, you know, of course, you know, I'm not trying to be defensive, like, you know, my healings are perfect, you know. It's just that I don't want you to have a perception that is disempowering, right? And so if you just think, oh, the healing is, you know, painful, you can't do anything about it, right? The actual self-assessment is that you have a bowl, a steel bowl of hardened energy that certain family members of yours are cording and accidentally maintaining. I don't think any of them mean to, but they're all corded to this steel bowl of energy blocks in the bottom of layers of your auras, and it's not releasing. So that's what I'm trying to get through to you, that, you know, shit is happening that can be fixed. You know, you can release stuff. You don't have to get stuck on it. It's not the healing. It's something's not releasing properly. It's not clearing properly. It's not releasing properly. I hope that helps. All right. So I should wrap up, but I will pick one more thing. This is feedback on something I already said, so that'll be quick. Yeah, I definitely need a way to focus on having healthier boundaries. And what that looks like, feels like for me. Thank you for your feedback on my self-assessment. Yeah. So you can have social fun and also have boundaries. You know, it doesn't have to be either or. You know, no boundaries and social fun. You could have boundaries and social fun at the same time. It's been a big thing everywhere right now that once I master those boundaries, life will finally be a bit more peaceful for me. Good. Someone says, my legs and knees feel amazing after the healing. Thank you, Janet. My mind still feels agitated. I'll work the 5th layer and mind garden for that. Look at you rocking the self-assessment. Yes, 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 and yes. Mine still feels agitated. Interesting. Yeah, mind garden I think would be interesting with that. Because it's like sometimes then you see this nice garden and then there's something going, you know, and you're like, holy shit, that's what's acting up my mind. And then it's either a person or some beings, and you get the beings recycled. And but yeah, mine still feels agitated. Yeah. Yeah, there's that sound boundaries video. In the short video playlist, there's a sound boundaries video. That could be interesting. You know, sound boundaries, some people, it's a term that doesn't, you know, it's not automatically obvious what it means sometimes, but it means like peace of mind, you know, being able to have clear thoughts of your own without, you know, mental clutter and chaos. So that could be nice to do that if you want a walkthrough. It says, I got to understand that the healing never stops. Yeah. Yeah, but don't make it laborious, because then you'll want it to say, you'll be like, oh, fuck this. Keep your spark, keep your fun, keep your, you know how you like to flip things upside down and do it a different way. Well, keep doing that. Be creative with your healing so that you don't get sick of it. Someone says, yep, that helps. Thank you. I understand now. Okay, good. All right. So I don't think I have many updates. Oh, we could do a small garden update, I guess. I'll get one of my little seedlings. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Thank you for waiting. So this will just be a quick little update. So with all the seedlings that are in the house that are growing under grow lights, getting ready to go outside eventually, This one is I'm growing a few varieties of tomatoes this year, and this one we just made up a name for it because we don't really know. Like we thought we knew what this. The problem is, okay, last year, when I was growing tomato seedlings in the house, I must have had like, I don't know, like 8 or 12 different varieties of tomato seedlings. And I dropped a whole tray of them, and all the little labels dropped out, and the dirt dropped out on the floor and everything. And I was able to salvage enough of the seedlings because I had an insane amount of them anyway. But all the labels, I had no idea. Like a lot of I didn't really know what I tried to put the label back with the right plant, but it was sort of probably unsuccessful for the most part. So I wasn't really sure some of the tomato varieties, but we had this one that was like that my husband especially really liked. It was red and bigger, and it didn't have as many seeds in it. So like when he makes pizza in the oven, he wants to use tomato slices without a lot of seeds because the seeds have a lot of water in them and it makes his pizza soggy, and he's very particular about soggy pizza. He doesn't like soggy pizza. So he liked these tomatoes because they were more meaty and had less seeds in them, and they're really good flavor. So we had assumed they were a certain variety because of my label thing, but by the end of the year, I actually looked at the initial websites that I had gotten all the seeds from, and I couldn't figure out what that tomato variety really was because it didn't look like any of the tomato varieties that I had purchased. So what we did is I saved the seeds from one of those tomatoes, one or two of those tomatoes, and I just decided we're going to call it Lorenzo's Red Rocket. So this is a Lorenzo's Red Rocket tomato plant. And see, these are those initial leaves, the boring ones. Those are the initial leaves, and then these are the true leaves. More like what it's going to look like when it's big. These more interesting shaped ones. So anyway, that's Lorenzo's Red Rocket tomato variety. And then this is snap peas. I've never grown snap peas before. This one's called Super Sugar Snap. So you're supposed to grow these like earlier in the year and then put them out, but so they really technically ideally would have been slightly bigger and already in the ground by now, but life is busy. So I'm hoping that we're going to have a mild first half of the summer so they have time to grow and be happy and give us lots of snap peas. That could be interesting because we've never grown snap peas before. We've grown green beans. I'll be growing those too, but it's still a little too early for those to start those in the house because they grow really fast in the house and then you have to put them out pretty fast, so they don't get all weird in the house. And but we still get pretty cool at night here is the thing for the beans. So, and the tomatoes. That's why I didn't bother starting my tomatoes sooner because it still gets too cold at night right now for them. But they'll grow fast and then I can put them out. So that's the update pretty much. Just lots of little seedlings, babying little seedlings in the house. Fortunately, our new cat, BooBoo Kitty, who's our only cat, she leaves all my plants alone, thank God. Because one of my previous cats, Zen, who was like all black with like tuxedo white markings on her paws and on her chest. She had white, and she always would like eat plants, any plants, like anything. So, but she's now an angel cat. So as an angel cat, she doesn't eat anything. She's not an angel, but you know what I mean? That's what I call them when they come back in spirit form after their bodies cross over, after their bodies, die. So she's with me in spirit and fortunately not destructive anymore. But I didn't know if BooBoo Kitty was going to be destructive like that, but she's not. I'm so grateful. Knock on wood, she's not. So far, she hasn't been, let's say. So that's pretty awesome. Let's see. Any comments other comments. Someone says, feel clear, not sure on areas I should improve. Well, if you gave me a self-assessment, then I would be able to comment. You can put that under the video if you want. Just do a self-assessment on like, okay, well, I want to improve with this or I want to improve with that. You know, am I right? You know, like, is there an issue that you think you have and what do you think you should do about it? This is nice garden starts. Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, technically, if we didn't have a slug problem and a bunch of bugs out there, which, you know, of course, it's wildlife out there, but if I didn't have any wildlife out there, then I could, this is big enough to put out there, but I'm going to try to grow it bigger because there are slugs out there, all sorts of, you know, bugs and stuff that'll try to feast on it. So I want, when it's bigger, it's slightly less appealing to the bugs and able to survive assault better. Someone is a tomato emoji. Nice garden starts. BooBoo is a guardian, not a plant lover. Well, she is a guardian, but I mean, like, yeah, that she's not a plant eater, which is good. That's good. I'm lucky. So, okay. Well, you guys are amazing. I could show, well, I can't really show my dog. He's in the cage. I could show him, but he's sleeping. I'll let him rest. So, no camera footage right now in the update because I just said Izzy's in his cage asleep. Well, his little, one of his crates. He has a big crate over there that he uses too, but he's in the smaller one. But he's resting, so I'll let him rest. But he and BooBoo Kitty are not buddies yet. In the evening we keep him like in a kennel closed up, so BooBoo Kitty can roam around. But we were hoping that, you know, he would like be nice and just leave her alone and stuff. I mean, he's been around cats before, but the other day in the morning, I think before one of these healings, I was preparing, you know, and I was seated in a chair and she walked around and he wasn't closed up. And so he charged out at her. But I called his name and he stopped and I made him stop and stuff. But so that's still a work in progress. All she has to do is stand up to him and then that's it. He'll obey her forever. But so far she just thinks that she doesn't realize that. So she thinks that, you know, she has to stay out of his way and stuff, which is really unfortunate because then we only see her at night when she knows he's in the cage closed up. But it is fun to see her roaming around at night. And we do, like now we give her one of our meals we give while we're sitting and eating our dinner. So then she comes around while we're eating our dinner and we get to watch her eat and stuff. And that's really cute. Very cute. So, I guess that's the update on Izzy and BooBoo. All right. So you guys are amazing. I hope you enjoy your life between now and the May twin set, which is the May 22nd and May 25th. And then so that's in like 2 weeks, but then next week is when the July sets go up on the 15th. So if you know anybody who needs that set, you could still purchase that on my website. Oh, wait. Well, yeah. And then on the 15th is when July goes up. So if you wanted to purchase those, you could start to do that on the 15th next week, next week on Thursday. All right. You're amazing. I don't think I have glitter. That really bothers me. I'm going to have to go to a different thing I'll fix that though. Fix that for next. Oops. All right, you're totally amazing. I will see you for the next live stream in 2 weeks. And also, what was I going to say? Oh, I may release like a short video or two between now and then. We'll see. But if you're subscribed to my channel and you ring the notification bell, then YouTube will tell you when those come out. Alrighty. Yay. Bye.